All right, this is a test. This is BelGeode, and we are back at the scene of the crime. You may ask, what is the scene of the crime? Well, all of my Microsoft Flight Simulator videos began with a visit to this place right here. If you look through the fence, you can see it. This is Rainier Flight Services, and Rainier Flight Services is important because it was the location where Microsoft and Asobo paid for a number of us that are considered media or influencers or whatever term you want to use, a bunch of YouTubers and so on. This is where they had the big media reveal in September of 2019. So this is where we came. And it's funny because this aircraft here actually does look very similar to the one that I ended up flying that day when we were guests of Microsoft and Asobo in this building. So yeah, really cool that we're here. Now this particular airport that we're at is Renton, K-R-N-T. You can do the phonetics on that one. But yeah, Renton is in Seattle, or at least in the greater Seattle area. The noise that you can hear there is one of the 737 MAXs that frequent this location. They're actually put together right across the street there. That's where the big Boeing factory is that puts all these birds together. So they usually end up here in Renton. And don't ask me how they managed to take off here because this runway is really not all that long. I guess they can probably pull it off. But yeah, this is pretty true to life. This is exactly what they look like when they're sitting here in Renton. And when we were there for the big Microsoft Asobo event, that was also the time where all the 737 MAXs were grounded. So we had like a bunch of liveries here from like Ryanair, which I think you can see one of their birds down there, and a number of others, Southwest and everybody were all here. And there was just like wall-to-wall 737s all over the place. It was nuts. I've never seen so many 737s in one place before. But you may ask, why are we here today? Well, this particular scenery is brought to us by Drzewiecki Design, and it is available now on places like Orbx or justflight.com and whatnot. So if you're interested in it, by all means, go ahead and pick it up. The reason why we are here is I want to show you all a new aircraft that is coming. It is going to be a preview video, which means it is not yet released at the time of this particular recording, but it will be at some point in time in the near future. And the first thing that I can say here is I noticed that, yeah, there's a lot of static aircraft just like spawning into each other. I'm pretty sure that's an Asobo issue. Maybe I should have turned my static aircraft off, but they don't seem to recognize the fact that Drzewiecki Design already has an aircraft in that spot. So that's a little odd. I do like the beaver over there, though. That is a part of this scenery. That is not what I'm here to show you today. It does look cool, though. This is what I'm here to show you. So this bad girl is the Vans RV-14, and I believe its designation is RV-14A. And you may notice this one is all tricked out. It's got the official BelGeode livery. This bird is by SimWorks Studios. No doubt you recall SimWorks Studios on this channel. They made the Zenith, or Zenith, however you prefer to pronounce it. They also made the Kodiak, which met with very high acclaim. I am constantly amazed by the Kodiak, and that was one of the most watched videos that I've had preview-wise. So this is their latest endeavor here, the Vans RV-14, and it is a looker. She is an absolutely gorgeous bird. So I figured, since we've got Renton here, and we've got a brand new bird to test her out with, why don't we fly around Seattle, and I'll try to replicate the flight that I actually took in the Cessna from this airport when we were here with Microsoft and Asobo. No doubt if you've checked some of the other channels of the other folks that were there, such as Frugal or NovaWing24, or maybe even helisimmer.com, because Sergio was there with us. You may have seen videos that they did where they replicated the flight, with the exception of Sergio. I don't think he replicated a helicopter flight here because he was actually flying in a Cessna. Don't tell him I said that. He doesn't want anybody to know that he actually has real life flight time in a Cessna 172. But I was there, folks. I was there. I saw him fly a Cessna. And no, he did not try to put it vertical so that the propeller became a rotor. He actually flew it the way it was intended. Shocking, I know. All right, but enough lollygagging around. Let me show you some of the other camera views, as I always do. We'll switch to the static cameras. All right, so this is our main camera, your standard behind the aircraft camera. You'll notice that the flaps are already down. I'm not sure why that is the case. I'm moving the flap lever now and it doesn't seem to be moving. So I'm guessing when this thing is off, the flaps automatically go down. I don't know, we'll find out when we power up. Our second view is the undercarriage view. I'm not too keen on it being off to this side, especially since my head is literally inside the pitot tube here. I would rather it be directly behind the aircraft looking forward, but I'm not going to complain too much. After all, they did make me a livery. Huge thank you, by the way, SimWorks Studios, not only for the BelGeode livery, which from my understanding, I am among a few other YouTubers and streamers that have personalized liveries that you, the viewer, will be able to receive with this bird, but also thank you for the opportunity to beta test and preview this bird. So thank you, SimWorks. All right, next view is our standard on top of the wing view on the starboard side wing, the right side wing. I love how they got the gold there. That's pretty cool. And my little green feather in my cap. I love it. I just love it. And then we've got what I think should be facing the opposite way. We're looking towards the back, so you can see the beaver back there. Oh, and I didn't even realize that they put my hat underneath here too. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. I love it. I love it. And then, of course, we've got the tailplane view. So we're on top of the elevator right now. It's pretty neat. And that's it. Those are all the external cameras that we have. Now, knowing me, I'll probably play around with some of the views for my own personal benefit and just kind of move the cameras to where I'd like to have, but not too shabby. They at least gave us some pretty good views so that we can, use them cinematically while we're flying. All right, but with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the bird and we'll begin our flight. Okay, so this is the office, and as you can imagine, for an experimental aircraft such as this is, you'll notice it even says experimental in the back there. We've got a little med pack, we've got my backpack, and we've got Kara's duffel bag and all of that good jazz. Good morning, Kara. But yeah, pretty straightforward stuff. It is, of course, a glass cockpit, so as you can see, we've got what looks to be a G1000 there. I almost think this might be a GTN, or maybe it's an NXI. I don't know. I'm not too up on my state-of-the-art GPS units there. I just know it looks pretty high-tech. There are no steam gauges in this, but that's all right. I can live with it. It is, after all, experimental. Let's go ahead and close the door. There we go. The door is locked. And we will get our battery power on. And I think that actually just turned on the alternator. So it looks like we may have to manually. There we go. Okay. That's on. Is that the flaps coming up? It certainly is. Okay. Well, now that I've got flap power, let's run the flaps through. Okay, looks like 3 stages of flaps. Very nice. Very nice. I should also check our ailerons. So there's the left one at least. Let's check the right one. And we'll do the elevators while we're at it. I can't really see the elevators from back here, and I definitely can't see the rudders, but everything appears to be moving. I'm hearing noises, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's go ahead and get everything powered up, shall we? Now, I believe there is a checklist for this. I'm not going to use the checklist, however, we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way here. All right, so let's get our nav lights on. And for some strange reason, anytime you turn on lights in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it seems to pause the sim. This is not a SimWorks Studios specific thing. I've noticed it with other aircraft as well. But you can see all our various light switches that we've got there. And that's a pitot heat, autopilot, fuel switch or fuel pump switch, avionics master, and what is this here? What are you? I don't know what you are. What are you? That's the parking brake. So I'm not looking for the parking brake. Oh, you know what? I think this is, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so that's the avionics battery. There's 2 batteries in this thing, apparently. So, or 2 avionics switches, I should say. This is our first one. So you can see we've definitely got a GTN 750, I think. I'm just so not used to that. But I guess I'll have to get used to it. All right, let's see if we can get some fuel going here. So first off, let's get the prop pitch in. There we go. Prop pitch is full. This is our fuel selection here. So we're gonna set that to the left tank. This is one of those where we'll need to switch from left to right. So be advised. And we'll go ahead and get the mixture knob in. We are pretty much at sea level, so we'll need full rich mixture here. And I'm gonna give us a little bit of throttle. And now we can turn on that nifty little pump. I'm gonna leave it on for a few seconds here, just to make sure that our fuel pressure is good. Actually, I can't even see which one is the fuel pressure, but I'm going to assume it's good, so we'll turn that off there. All right, we're just about ready for a start, so let's go ahead and get the mags on. And even though I've got the doors closed, we'll shout clear. Okay, looks like we got a good start. Let's go ahead and get our regular avionics on, which will of course power everything else on. Autopilot, we will leave you off. Strobe lights, we will leave you off. Taxi lights, however, we'll go ahead and turn you on. Pulse mode, I'm assuming that's for the landing lights, to cause the landing lights to flash. We're probably not going to need that on this run. Okay, now, here is the interesting thing. They seem to be duplicated screens on the left and the right. I thought it was just a standard G1000, but that doesn't appear to be the case. However, I am going to set up our GPS for navigation, so we pretty much have that set right now. And we need to go south, I believe. Or is it north? I'm not even sure. What does it say here? It looks like it's telling me we need to go north, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I know when I did this flight in real life, we took off to the south. But I guess what we can do is we can have Kara contact them. So, Kara, do your thing, girl. All right, contact. What? Before we do that, let's get the ATIS.
Renton Airport information Alpha 1600 Zulu. Wind 125 at 5. Visibility 10.
Huh.
Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,800 feet.
Yep, sounds like Seattle.
5. Dew point 10. Altimeter 30.01.
All right, let's set that.
Visual runway 16 in use. Landing and departing runway 16.
Okay.
VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Alpha.
Okay. And let's see. Go ahead and tell them that we are departing straight out. Actually, you know what? No. Tell them that we request taxi departing south.
Renton ground November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo with Bravo request taxi to the active south departure.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo taxi to and hold short of runway 16 using taxiway Alpha Alpha 2. Contact tower on 124.7 when ready.
Okay, good deal. All right,
Taxi
so
to and hold short runway 16 via taxiway Alpha Alpha 2 Alpha Golf Bravo.
I think what we'll need to do is we'll cut down here, and we'll hang a left, and we'll taxi down to the lake. When we get to the lake, we'll turn around, and that'll be runway 16. So pretty straightforward stuff. These people are in my way, however, so I'm going to hit the pushback. All right, that should be good enough. And now we can give it a little bit of gas. Very nice, very nice. Now I do notice that I am losing some FPS here, which tells me the scenery is pretty heavy. It is, after all, Drzewiecki, and it is one of the unfortunate things with Drzewiecki is that the scenery is pretty heavy. I have no idea what that is that's floating up in the air there. What is that? Is that a player? What was that? I don't even know. But yeah, Drzewiecki does tend to be pretty heavy. Plus, remember, we're in Seattle, which is really well modeled. Like, really well modeled. Although, I will say this, I do not have photogrammetry on, so I don't know how that's going to affect some of the things like, say, for example, the Space Needle and stuff like that. It might just make everything look like crap. But so far, I can say this is actually pretty true to life. There usually is some kind of seaplane over there. And if you look off in that direction, you can see that Drzewiecki at least put the hotel where we stayed, because default Microsoft Flight Simulator does not have the hotel that we stayed at. Go figure. It's something I've been complaining about since the very beginning. But yeah, they put everything in here in an attempt to wow us about the sim and the condition that it was in when we first got to view this thing, but they completely missed out the hotel where we stayed. That's so wild. It was one of those what moments. All right, before we tell Kara to contact the tower, let me make sure she's set to auto. So I don't think she is. She is. Kara, why aren't you contacting them? You should be contacting them, girl. All right, we're going to do it this way then. Go ahead and tell them it's time for us to go. Oh, I guess I got to click it. Takeoff clearance, please.
Renton Tower, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo.
All right,
ready
she
at
should have
runway
it from here.
16 south departure.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, altimeter 30.01, wind 125 at 5. South departure approved.
Okay.
Cleared for takeoff runway 16.
Cleared for takeoff runway 16 Alpha Golf Bravo.
All right, now I'm not too worried about like the transponder and whatnot, because as soon as we take off and we call for flight following, more than likely Kara's going to switch all of that over. So we are good to go. Let's go ahead and get our fuel pump on. Okay. Love that sound. All right. I don't see any traffic coming in off the lake, which is good. And we assume there's no traffic the other way. Now, I'm not going to use flaps on this takeoff, even though this is I want to say, relatively short runway. It's not so short that we're going to run into issues. At least, I don't think. Maybe I should set our trim, though. All right, so here we go. Ooh, little bump there. Actually, I think I kind of remember that when I was flying this airport. This is a pretty bumpy runway. All right, but right here should be good. So you know what it's time for, folks. Brakes down, throttles up. And let's go, go, go. Brakes off. Now, this is only my second time flying this thing, so if I am a little bit rusty, I do apologize. The only other experience that I have with this bird is in X-Plane 11, which was by AOA Simulations. All Alright, 75, we should be good to take off. No gear to come up, so we're good. And there we go. Just like that, we are away from Renton. Now, something tells me that my flight plan is reversed. I think it really does want us to go north, but I'm going to ignore that, so we're actually just going to follow.
Continue for south departure.
Let me trim us up here a little.
Renton Tower, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo. Continue for south departure.
So there's Renton itself, and you can see traffic coming from KC, or SeaTac if you prefer.
Renton Tower, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, 600 feet to land.
Oh, we're not landing yet, Kara. What are you doing?
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, Renton Tower. Altimeter tree, 0.01 wind 125 suffice. Fly right traffic, runway 16.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Enter right traffic, runway 16 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Kara, I'm going to have to fire you. What is going on here, girl? Cancel landing intentions.
Renton Tower, Alpha Golf Bravo, cancel landing intention. Alpha Golf Bravo, your cancellation is received. Seattle approach, November 70
Thank you.
Alpha Golf Bravo is type 3 miles, south of Renton 1,500 feet. Request, flight following.
While we're turning, let's go ahead and go to the outside
November
view.
70 Alpha Golf Bravo, Seattle approach. Squawk 6746.
Let me make sure she changes.
746 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Here we go.
Alpha Golf Bravo, radar contact 3 miles southeast of Renton, 1,800 feet. Altimeter tree 0.01.
All right, good deal.
Roger Alpha Golf Bravo.
And I'm going to trim us down a little bit here. We're probably going to go up to like about, I don't know, 3,000 feet, but these clouds are really low. They did say that the clouds are like 1,800, so that could be a problem. And there's, what is that, Mount Rainier, I think? Yeah, I believe that is Mount Rainier. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Saw that on the way in and on the way out. Didn't get to see it much when I was actually doing this flight in the Cessna, but suffice to say, it is still impressive, even in the flight sim. All right, but let's go to that outside view, shall we? In fact, let me get our prop pitch back just a touch here. Now, of course, the real question for me is, am I going to be able to find that waterfall that we flew over? I don't know that I can, because to be honest with you, I'm not too familiar with the area. The only thing I know is Seattle is like right over there somewhere. Boeing Field is like right over there somewhere. Renton is back behind us. And somewhere around here, Bill Gates lives. That's pretty much the extent of my Seattle knowledge. After all, we only spent a couple of days here. It's not like we spent a week or something where I could actually get the opportunity to travel around the area and check it out. So, but I'm looking for Snoqualmie, I think that's how they pronounce it, so Snoqualmie waterfalls, and I want to say it's off in this direction. So we're going to at least do a college attempt and see if we can find it. I would imagine it's probably on the river. So as long as we can find a river, we might be able to just follow that. And I think this is the river here. Does this even look like a river? I don't know. Needless to say, this aircraft is really smooth. I am thoroughly enjoying this. I can basically just trim her up and we're good to go. We're not going to go anywhere. We're just like, cruising here. Of course, this thing does have autopilot, so if we want to, we can set up the autopilot. I am not setting that up because, like I said, it looks like our flight plan has us going the reverse. I could change that, but like I said, I'm also not very full versed with this GPS unit, so I'm kind of hesitant to mess with it, just in case I break something in the middle of the flight, and I think I've broken enough SimWorks Studios planes on this channel. But yeah, look at that. That is so beautiful. I will say this, even without having photogrammetry on, to me, it still looks realistic. Although bear in mind, if I were a resident of the area, I could probably point out what's not correct and so on and so forth, but I am not. Therefore, I am not too concerned. I think they did a pretty decent job. I'm going to head over this way somewhere because I want to say that the waterfall might be over this side. I know it was somewhere around here, and the lady that I was flying with, her name was Kat. She was one of the instructor pilots at Rainier. She had me do some deep turns around the waterfall there, so I got a really good look. And then in the middle of that procedure there, I had her pretty much take over for me so that I could get pictures of the waterfall. If I remember, I'll post a picture there. Of course, with everything happening so quickly, I had my phone vertically and not horizontally. So the picture isn't all the best, but at least it gives you a kind of an idea as to what the real waterfalls look like. I'm still not so certain I'll be able to find it here, but maybe that's it up ahead. I don't know. We're going to fly over there and find out. I do know that we pretty much explored this entire valley in the Cessna that we were in, and we really got a good look of all of the areas in this area here, in this little valley. And I think that was probably the most impressive part of the real flight. And bear in mind, they had us do this real flight after we had done basically the same thing in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And of course, we know why they had us do that. They wanted us to see that they were serious about replicating what's there in real life. Overall, I would say that Microsoft Flight Simulator has achieved that. There's still a good ways to go. And there's still definite areas of opportunity that they have. But from what I've seen over the last couple of years, since of course this flight sim's been out for almost 2 years now, I'd say they're on the right path. Sometimes it takes them a little bit longer to get to things than I would like, but they're trying. And I will give them that. They are trying. All right, this does look familiar. This is triggering the old photographic memory here. I do believe we may have found our waterfalls. So once again, I'll put a picture up right about now. That'll be the only editing in this chill video here. But just to kind of compare real life with what we're seeing here. And I'm even going to do a deep turn. Let me make sure that we're level though. Yeah, that certainly does look like Snoqualmie. I can barely pronounce that name. We'll get a better look once we turn around. I'll swing out further this way, the direction that we're heading here, and then we'll turn around and check it out. Maybe we can even do that from the outside view. All right, let's see if we can find our waterfalls now. Yep, that is it. I am pretty certain that is it. Even though areas of opportunity there are Sobo, you could put like animated water effects and whatnot. That is pretty much what the falls looks like, so not too shabby. Nicely done, nicely done. All right, we're gonna go around one more time and then we'll head back more towards the Seattle metro area. But yeah, that's kind of what I remember. And of course you've got the picture for reference, so there you go. You can confirm with me that this is pretty much what it looks like, except the buildings might not match up exactly. All right, let's swing ourselves around because we need to get back on the flight path here. And that's another thing that I really enjoy about this aircraft. She is very nimble, considering the fact that it's an experimental and pretty much a very light aircraft. She does exactly what you want. She's really stable. She doesn't, get you into too much trouble or anything like that. She just flies exactly how you would expect an aircraft like this to fly. And I think that is important, especially for those who, like myself, like to use these kinds of birds just as sightseeing engines, I guess is probably a good way to put it. What's our altitude, by the way? We're close to 3,000. All right, I'm going to level out here at 3,000. We should be good right here. But yeah, I have zero complaints with this aircraft. So far, everything works as advertised. Now, I am, of course, going to check out the autopilot since we are going straight right now and we're at least heading where I think we need to go. We'll check out the line once it comes back on the screen. But let's go, let's see, we're going to need the autopilot master switch for starters. So let's go ahead and set that up. And I should set up our altitude, so let me do that. There we go, 3,000, that's what I'm looking for. So we're gonna go master altitude, or master autopilot on, flight director on, altitude hold on. Now I'm deliberately not using the nav hold or the heading hold because of the fact that I'm not 100% certain that it's going to have us going the right way. So we're going to hold off on that. But we are going to try and see if we can make it back to Seattle, and we're also going to see if we can locate where Microsoft is. Now, to be honest with you, I flew over it, but I have no idea. I don't even remember. Everything was such a blur. I was just ecstatic that I was able to fly around Seattle. Got an extra hour for the logbook. Lord knows that logbook has been so abandoned over the years. One of these days, maybe I might get back into this for real life. But for now, this will have to do. The experience in VR is a good proxy as far as I'm concerned. All right, but now that we've got the autopilot set up and everything is good to go, let's go to the drone camera, so that way we can do our customary go around the aircraft and also check out the Seattle scenery. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have turned photogrammetry on. However, yeah, Totally forgot about that. Usually I keep it off because I'm often flying in places where there is no photogrammetry, so there's kind of no point in having it on. But in places like this, it would make everything look a heck of a lot better. I just forgot to turn it on, so my apologies. Especially if you live in this area and you're watching this video and you're like, it doesn't look a damn thing like that. Yeah, you're right. That's because I forgot. But hopefully some of the landmarks are still going to be there despite us not being in photogrammetry. I don't know. It does say that we are heading towards downtown Seattle, so I did put in as one of my waypoints the Space Needle. So it is my hope that that will actually be there. If not, then I guess I can go into settings really quick and turn photogrammetry on. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should do that right now. This is going to be one of those rare moments where I actually do edit the video because I just want to cut out the whole process of turning photogrammetry on. Okay, so now that we have changed it over to photogrammetry, well, the first thing that I noticed is
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Oh boy.
Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
Oh yeah, that's about right.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo Seattle approach.
Oh boy.
Cleared through the Bravo airspace.
We've got rain.
Cleared through Bravo airspace. Alpha Golf Bravo.
Alright, so as I started to say, this is more what Seattle looks like. Now that we've got the photogrammetry in, it certainly has put all the correct buildings in the correct places, and now I can really see where downtown is. And according to this, we need to be making a left. So still on autopilot, but I'm just going to swing us out to the left here. And if I let go, she will try to level herself out, but that's okay. As long as I stay to the right of the downtown area, then she can do what she wants. Okay, so right about there. I want to say this is, what is this, Bellevue area? It could be. Alright, she's wanting to bank back the other way. Try and stay on course, so I am going to hit the heading hold right there, and hopefully she will stabilize. Still going a little to the right, but yeah, she should straighten herself out. So there we go, look at that. We've got rain. We've got rainbows. Doesn't get much better than that. That might be our title shot. Let's go outside really quick and see if we can get a good picture of it. Okay, I think we got a pretty good picture of our little rainbow there. Of course, you will probably already know as to whether or not I decided to use that as our title thumbnail. I changed my altimeter setting because these clouds seem to have gotten a little higher. Remember they were at 1800 before, and now we're at 3000 and they're still above us. Not that I'm complaining, mind you, but yeah, you may want to check our altimeter. So off in the distance there, you will see SeaTac, and I believe that is Renton there. So we're getting kind of close to home. Boeing Field is also somewhere around here. I want to say it is there, off in that direction somewhere. I don't know. We'll find it, though. We'll find it. All right, what we are going to do, however, are some shenanigans. So let's go ahead and turn off the autopilot settings. Okay, autopilot is now off. And we are looking for a Space Needle. So I want to do the exact same thing that I did in real life, which was fly around the Space Needle. Oh, look, there's a stadium there. I have no idea about the Washington teams or the Seattle teams, so don't ask me which one is which. And yep, that is definitely a Space Needle. Okay, we're going to go to the outside view for this, but I'm going to pull the power back somewhat, so that way we can drop a little quicker. It looks like somebody else has the same idea. Oh, we are definitely dropping FPS now. But there's a Space Needle. It does look good. And that is pretty much what it looks like. Alright, we're going to need to get out of downtown. So that's enough shenanigans for one day. And there's already traffic here. You can see there's somebody flying above me. Don't know if it's anybody I know, however. But we're not going to stick around to find out. Let's get out of the neighborhood here. Okay, so we're going to get ready to come in and land before I lose what's left of my FPS. Now, you may wonder, why do I even keep this stuff in, even though it makes it difficult to watch? Well, I need you all to know this is pretty much what you could expect. Now, don't get me wrong, my PC is not exactly the most beastly. It is now quite outdated. I still run an AMD Radeon 7, which, even though it does do a pretty decent job, it's obviously still got some issues. Alright, maybe I should zoom this out. The question is, how do I zoom this out? I don't know. I haven't learned anything about this thing just yet. Well, all I know is we're going to keep heading south until I see Renton, so we'll go with that. We're going to follow this lake here. I think this is the neighborhood that Bill Gates lives in, if I'm not too mistaken. I want to say he lives somewhere off in that direction, perhaps on that little island. What is that? Mercer, I think it's called. I don't know, I could be wrong. But I will say I do notice that Microsoft still has not fixed these bridges. Pretty sure it doesn't go underwater. I don't know, it's been a few years since I've been here, but I'm fairly certain that that does not go underwater. Call me crazy, but yeah. That I think might be Boeing Field. What does it say there? Yes, that is Boeing Field. That is most definitely Boeing Field. Nice. Okay, so as long as we stay out of their airspace, we should be good. And And there's SeaTac back over there, which means Renton should be pretty much dead ahead. So I hope you've enjoyed this little trip around the Seattle area with me. Again, my apologies for the FPS dips. If it does look like the video is stuttering, there's not a whole hell of a lot I can really do about that. But I kind of want to show that to you because of the fact that, yeah, it's pretty much a given when it comes to this area. This area does tend to drop FPS a lot. And especially with the Drzewiecki scenery, even though Drzewiecki makes absolutely amazing airports, I cannot fault him on his airports. They are just drop dead gorgeous. And this one is no exception. They do still have that issue where they tend to draw a lot of FPS. It's exacerbated by the fact that I'm actually in VR, but you know, it is what it is. All right, Kara, I'm taking you over here because I need you to get us clearance to land at Renton before we actually pass the airport up. So we want RNT. And now you can tell them we're coming in to land.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo is 4 miles north, 1,100 feet with Bravo to land. November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo Renton Tower Airport is currently IFR. Request denied.
Oh, no. Well, we're going to try that again. All right, Renton.
Renton Tower, November 70
Enable
Alpha
ignoring.
Golf Bravo is 3 miles north, 1,000 feet with Bravo to land.
While she's working on that, I'm going to get our flaps down.
Alpha Golf Bravo Renton Tower. Altimeter tree 0.01 wind 125 at 5. Make straight in runway 16. Alpha Golf Bravo wind 125 at 5. Clear to land runway 16.
Prop pitcher's up, mixture is up. And all of our lights are still on because I never bothered to turn them off. I am, however, going to turn off the master autopilot switch. And I'm going to need to give us a little bit more power here.
500. Alpha Golf Bravo, did you copy?
Kara, I thought you were handling that.
Clear to land runway 16 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Sheesh. You know what? I want Kat back. Kat was much better at that job than you are. Alright, here we go, folks. We are bringing her in. I'm not going to go to the outside view this time. We're just going to land it. So I'm already starting to lose more FPS, and I'm not too keen on that. But yeah, in case you were wondering where we stayed, you see that hotel with the lights on the top? That's it. That is where we stayed when we were here in 2019. I miss that place. Such an awesome hotel. Alright, let me concentrate on my landing here because otherwise we're going to be all over creation. And we seem a little shallow. I can't even see the Vazzy lights here. I know they're off to the left because I remember that much, but something tells me we're too low. But that's alright. We'll pull it off. Why? Because we always pull it off on this channel. Somehow, some way. Alright. Bring the power back. A little bit of flare. Power off. And gently bring her in. Nice. Nice. Okay. Now that we are down, let's get some of that stopping power going.
Alpha Golf Bravo exit. Runway when able.
I am able right now. How about them apples? Very nice. So the airport itself is pretty awesome. The aircraft itself is even more awesome. I think I am going to give this one 2 thumbs up.
121.6.
Even though this is only a preview.
121.6 for Alpha Golf Bravo.
I gotta say, I'm really impressed with it. Really impressed with it. Alright, let's get our strobe lights off. Our landing lights off. We can also get the fuel pump off. I never bothered to turn that on. Or the pitot heat. I never bothered to turn on, but oh well. Alright, and let's find Renton, or Rainier I should say. We'll go park there. This is pretty much exactly what I did when we came into. We actually had to stop here, wait for traffic, because of course there were other YouTubers and whatnot that were flying around. It wasn't just me, but every one of us had the opportunity to fly one of the Cessnas at Rainier with a instructor pilot in the right seat. So that was really freaking awesome. Definitely the highlight of my visit. And look at this guy. Seriously, dude, you've picked possibly the worst time to use this road. All right, there's Rainier over there, so I'm gonna cut to the left. Overall, SimWorks Studios, I would say you have knocked it out of the park yet again. Even though I didn't show like all of the features that this aircraft have, I think I've shown enough about its handling as well as the features that I have shown to be able to say this is an extremely good job. I'm really happy with this thing. Of course, I'm also happy that you made the livery that you made. And I'm sure some of the other YouTubers will be happy as well. I know Avangel's probably going to be over the moon because she's got her own livery too. So you'll probably be seeing that really soon on her channel. All right, I'm going to pull up right next to this Cessna here. As for the scenery itself, drop dead gorgeous. Drzewiecki always does a good job on scenery, but just remember, it will eat your FPS. That is a bit unfortunate, but that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. So, of course, I could adjust a lot of my settings and whatnot, but to be honest with you folks, whenever I record these things, I try not to mess with my settings. The idea is to keep everything consistent from video to video, whether it's a chill vid or if it's a full production vid, so that you, the viewer, can see how each scenery and aircraft fares. So because of the fact that, you know, everything does look a little bit more shaky on this particular video, you can determine that this one will eat a little bit more FPS. But these are the exact same settings that I've had compared to the previous video, which you may have seen, which was the Grumman Goose preview. And of course, all the videos prior to that with like the Cessna Skymaster from Carenado and all the other birds that I've done. It's always the same settings. I never change my stuff. I want to have a baseline so that, you know, you can see how it works. But with all that having been said, I'm still pretty pleased and I'm still pretty impressed. I'm going to go for another flight off camera because when I'm not recording, that will also give me some of this lost FPS back. But in the interim, I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this. This has been BelGeode. This has been another chill vid. We have been previewing the SimWorks Studios rendition of the Vans RV14 or RV14A. It's not currently available at the time of my recording this video, but it will be soon, very soon. Once I have that information, I will, of course, update the link in the video description, so that way you can be taken straight there to purchase it. If you are interested in this airport is by Drzewiecki Design, and this is Renton Airport in the Seattle area. Highly, highly recommend it. As far as realism goes, they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. Everything about this thing is perfect, with the exception of the FPS issues, but can't win them all, right? Anyway, the link to that will be in the video description down below. And I'm going to go ahead and power everything down. So as I'm doing that, I do want to thank you again for watching. If you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done that. And I will see you all really, really soon. I'm just going to go ahead and power everything down here. And we'll go to the outside view after I get the power off, or at least the engine off. There we go. Alrighty, folks. So from beautiful Renton in Washington, BelGeode signing out. Ciao.